Now, good morning everyone. I'm going to start with Bitcoin. I'm going to do a quick review of the daily levels and where we are, because we're going to go into more detail in about an hour or so when we're doing the weekly trade setup. So that will be a longer session where we're setting the levels for the whole week. For the day, so that you know what happened last night, for the day we had the previous swing that went up from 19,300 to 20,200. It corrected down to its 272 level, and instead of making a mountain peak in this 15-minute arc, which I expected Bitcoin and Ethereum, I expected them to do a mountain peak. That's all the mountain peak Bitcoin did at the weekend. XRP had a beautiful lift, a beautiful pump. Bitcoin only did that, and then started correcting down, and it came down to 272. Now, this is a breakout from this arc, and it's probably going to be a 3 steps down level breakout. For that, to see where that might take us, we have to look at the daily levels. So when we look at the daily levels, we can see that we've broken through this support and resistance line, which was quite strong over the past 3 months. So here we are, 17th, 18th of September, and this has been holding since the 17th of June. So this has been our level of support and resistance. We are currently, as I'm recording this, right below it. The next level would be the technical target of this channel. I've tweaked it slightly to include the overflow areas that have confirmed themselves quite strongly. So now my target for this channel is 17,000. So this is where I believe Bitcoin is going to go. Now around the 17,500, 17,000 and 16.5. Morning, Lee. And around 16.5, we have three levels. We have three levels of support here. So there's the 17.5, 17,000, the technical target of this channel, and then the 16.5. So there's a confluence here of strong support. Now Bitcoin could stop somewhere around this area, and by around this area I mean I would be probably taking profit at 17,000, leaving a little bit for the 16.5. If it breaks that, then it's looking a little bit more how can I say, more dramatic on the drop down to possibly 14K. Now I was listening to a blockchain backer that's a long-term analyst in crypto, and he was saying that Bitcoin might actually have a chance of going a lot lower than 14K. But we'll see where that is. My levels so far are 16.5, then 13.3, and then the next one would be 10 grand. This is the descending channel that we're in, so we're most likely going to stop at this bottom line somewhere. So what do I expect to see today, just briefly on the daily levels? We have reached the bottom of this arc. We actually came out of it, and this is the 1 hour arc. Let me just clean this chart a little bit. There we go. Switch it to the 4 hour to avoid all the sideways. So this is where we are on the 1 hour arc. We had 3 steps down. I believe somewhere around here or here was double top. This was definitely mountain peak by the level. So double top is really hard to identify in all the sideways, but this was definitely mountain peak. This was definitely third drop. What we might see today / tomorrow might be a slight lift, because the RSIs need to catch a little bit of a breather on the 1 hour. especially, and the 4-hour as well. We might see a little lift and then some further downwards movement. At the moment, we are below this support and resistance line, which goes all the way back to here. Even if I'm to tweak it slightly, we are still below it. So I do expect a little bit of a lift. It has been a severe drop. I don't expect a big lift, not unless the market makers start pushing the market violently to liquidate shorts. But as things are at the moment, with all the breaking of support, I think we're going to have our September dump. So I think the downward trend will continue. I will only be looking to build up a short for the moment. So on retracements, I'll be DCAing in and then following it down. In terms of invalidation of the structure, I don't think we're any close to any reversal. If anything, I believe we're going to come up and test the VWAP, and the VWAP is somewhere around 18,700 at the moment. On the 4-hour, maybe when New York opens, it's going to be a little bit lower, but around that area we're going to come up, we're going to test it, and then we're going to continue our journey downwards. We still, I believe we've still yet to see if the 17 level holds. So I personally, I find the 17 target to be very likely. I think, but that's again just a belief that it will hold. If the 17 level doesn't hold, it doesn't bode well for the market. But it's, as a trader, I can only be happy about this kind of move, because it's going to be violent moves down, and violent moves down are quite big in profit. Now, so to sum up today's movement, though I will go into more detail when I do the weekly trade setup, I expect a retest somewhere around maybe even the previous resistance, 18,900, though it seems quite a lot for where it is. But these are the levels, so I expect a slight retest of the VWAP around 18,800, 18,700, maybe even 18,900, and then coming back down. And I've chosen the VWAP because it's the closest one, because I don't personally see it doing more than that. I don't see it do. There's been barely any energy for any lift over the past 4 days. So ever since this started here, there's been very little energy for a lift. Ethereum has had a little bit of a more gusto at the weekend in one of its swings up, but Bitcoin has been very flat in going up. So yeah, with all this breaking through the levels happening, I don't see it going very high on the retrace. I will be following the stochastic on the 1 hour, which will indicate those moments of retrace, and it will give me good moments to DCA on the way down. That would be my indicator. So that's where I believe Bitcoin is. We need to zoom out for the bigger picture, which I believe is the bigger downtrend down to 17K. And on the smaller picture, we might need a little bit of a breather, but it won't be too much. Not by considering what we've had this weekend. Ethereum is in a Ethereum just printed this channel. I was looking at this yesterday in the evening because it was so abrupt. I found it hard to see it initially, but here it is. Here's touching the bottom line, and it confirmed most of our targets. It's so these are the levels. So it confirmed the 1350. It touched it. It reached the technical target here, and now it's coming back for the resistance line it broke out of when it did its massive lift. So Ethereum, I have seen Ethereum. I've been watching it and TAing it for a while now, and Ethereum doesn't just do that. Ethereum will probably stop here for a while at around 1270, and then it's going to go for the bottom, and it's probably going to go for a deeper correction. Now the previous level is around the mid 800. If I just put again just a technical target of only the bottom part, that would be 750. So that would be just a small technical target here. But again, I'm looking at the daily levels, and the daily levels indicate a deeper drop. So 1000 would be our next level of support, and then if we do break downwards, the next level of support close to the technical target here would be 600, around 600, 570. But yeah, just like Bitcoin, there's a lot of sorry about that today, guys. We are below the daily level. So for both Ethereum and Bitcoin, we are below daily levels of support. All we can expect at the moment is more continuation to the downside. There's going to be a breather on the RSIs and on the 1 hour, and I don't see after that breather any reversal upwards, except for a rehabilitation of the RSIs, and then more continuation downwards. The only thing that would save the situation is turning the previous line of support and resistance back into support. So, and I believe that is virtually impossible. Where the previous line is for Ethereum, it's the 1480, 200 points. It's I don't see that happening. I really don't see that happening. We are moving in this space here in this triangle. I'm not sure we're going to see much of a lift. I think we're going to see some sideways and then another drop to here. This is where Bitcoin is, and I believe this is where Ethereum is going to come as well. What else did I want to say? I told you about this channel. This channel needs another touch to the top, so 1370. Yeah, that sounds like a rehabilitation level. Might not even get there. It might just come back to retest the 200 on the 1 hour, which is no, I take that back. That was a 200 on the 15 minute. The 20 on the 1 hour is here. 200 is over here. I don't believe it's gonna go all the way up there. Not where it is at the moment. But first we need to see it doing a little bit of a lift to catch a little bit more wind in its sails, so that it can drop further. Yeah, the how can I say, the trend of the week is down. The trend, no doubt about that. Both Ethereum and Bitcoin did not reach a mountain peak, which means that their strength for the up is quite diminished. Very little momentum for the up, very little momentum for the retraces. Great moments to DCA in on the shorts. Yeah, I believe there's going to be some nice weeks to trade. We just need to be careful about getting caught in retraces. So make sure you have DCAs well put on the way up, so that you can manage your position and your entry point constantly. That's it from me. I'll leave you with Roy. He's going to do XRP. XRP was a lot more volatile this weekend. It did a beautiful mountain peak, textbook, and it did a beautiful third drop again, textbook. And right now we're following it down to base. The initial target for me would be 31.5. So that's it from me for now. I'll see you in about an hour or so for the weekly trade setup, and that's when we'll go into more detail for Ethereum and Bitcoin. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay, super. Let's have a look at XRP. And just have a look at this one. Okay, so I've been charting this and posting it over the weekend. So we had a lovely pump up here, and we hit our target. And again, you can see this ascending wedge, and hit it very, very sweetly. And now we've had the retrace and the general target of this. And I've taken my target off now because of what's happening. I'll explain shortly. But the general target for this would be looking at a 786 around 33.64. However, I'm holding off on that, as in I'm leaving the trade open. I've been flipping and flopping on that for the last day or two, except when I look at Bitcoin. I'm going to pull Bitcoin in here for a sec, just to show you when I've been looking at Bitcoin and its pattern, and equally Ethereum as well. As you can see, look, there's the impulse. I think XRP might be just a little bit behind Bitcoin and Ethereum. So look, there's that impulse. Here's the correction. Look, XRP did the same thing. It did that drop, and look at Bitcoin's doing its levels down. Did its lift. This looks like the final lift before the breakout for Bitcoin. And now Bitcoin's bottom here. Sorry about that drill. Here's the bottom, the low for Bitcoin, 17,500 or so. Yeah. Over here, let me move up slightly. So Bitcoin is looking very, 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 very close to spilling and doing a proper breakout. We'll see if it does a double bottom, or if it wants to do something more. When I look at the daily and the weekly on Bitcoin, it looks as spilly as hell, and it just certainly looks like it's going to go lower than a double bottom. Yeah. But yeah, we still have to see this play out. Yeah. So that's Bitcoin. So now when I look at XRP, look, you can see the XRP pattern here. Looks like it's trailing Bitcoin a little bit behind. So potentially, is again, you can see the retrace. It's coming down again. Is we may get a couple of these like Bitcoin, get a lift and then a spill, or possibly the lift and then the spill is going to come if Bitcoin really goes. XRP will follow it, but it looks like it's in a similar pattern. Yeah. Now also as well is with XRP is when I zoom out, you can see. Just go to the 4 so you can see it. You can see the wedge, or not the wedge, the blowhorn, the bear channel all the way down. Yeah, and here's the center line on the XRP, and you can see it was tested once, twice, 3 times. It broke through on this pump, and now we're back testing it again. Yeah, where Bitcoin got tested and got rejected at its center line at the moment. Yeah. So it looks like you can see when you zoom in now, it looks like XRP is back on that line. Yeah. Again, and then equally you can see this channel, this white channel here. Yeah. If you just look at just a basic, if it breaks out of that, there's a target there of. So just bring this one down. There's a target there of 28.59, which will be a double bottom. So again, the question is, are we going to do a double bottom? You know, is Bitcoin going to do a double bottom? We get a retrace. And if it is, out of this channel, if we bounce back here and come back into this channel again, we're going for a big breakup. It's going to pump, if it does. But if it breaks below, it looks like we're going for a bigger spill. A bigger spill. And where have I got that marked out? I've got that marked out on one of my channels, or one of my charts. This one. Okay. So if it goes for a bigger spill, is you can see this channel here, yeah. And if it wants to go to the bottom of this channel, is we could be looking at 26.89. And I'd say a range between that to 24.05. There could be a bigger spill down here, yeah. And again, that could be an indication of is if it spills, comes back into the channel and works up here, is then we're breaking through the midline here and we're coming back to the top line here. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Especially because of how spilly Bitcoin looks. Bitcoin looks like it's going to go. So that's what I'm watching out for. Is are we going to come to this support line here at 2865, or are we going to go further? So that's what I'm watching. If Bitcoin goes below its lower low, which it is much closer to, is then I would take it that XRP is going to do the same thing as well. It's just a little bit behind. So now, if I look at if I go to there's another channel, but I've already said that. Yeah. If I go to the EMAs first, okay, just have a quick look about what's going on at those. Yeah, is you can see this is on the 5 minute top left. Is you can see the 5 minute crossed here, drop down, and then there's the back test to the VWAP. Yeah, and generally if that holds, which it has, you can see it's got rejected here, back tested to the 55 in the VWAP. And it holds. It looks like it's going for another spill. Over on the right, top right, this is the 15 minute. And again, you see the back test to the VWAP, and it looks like it's setting itself up for another spill. Yeah. Bottom left is the half hour. So the half hour is crossed over already, which again is indicate good support for a down. And bottom right is the hour, or sorry, the 4 hour. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, bottom left is the hour, not the half hour. Change it. So this is looking very good that the hour is crossed over, yeah. And then bottom right is the 4 hour. And again, the 4 hour again is if this goes for that deeper spill, is give it 2 or 3 cycles and we'll be crossing back over this again. So now I want to go to the 12 hour. The 12 hour in this, because you can see the 12 hour in this. On this is you got a lift here, and it got rejected, broke through this time, got a lift, and now we're coming back down. And what I'm looking at potentially is you know, it looks better on the. It looks better. It's clearer on this. As long as it looks better, it does look better, but it looks clearer on this. Is these two tops here and here look like a double top, and it also is a good indication of a rejection. So it got here, got rejected, came back up again, got rejected sharply, and potentially that's indicating that we're going for a down. Yeah. So we'll see. So now if I just flick to the MAs, and I'm going to go to the weekly. Actually, I'll go to the monthly, because the monthly looks very different now because of what's happening. Yeah, there was a wick up, and you can see it pushed through the 5 MA here, and now it's getting pushed back down. Is potentially, if this starts breaking down, is that this just looks like a rejection, and then we're heading down for a continuation. Yeah, so that's the you see it went up, it came down, it's gone back up again. And now it's been pushed back down over the month. The month so far is when you go into the weekly, is you can see on the weekly that the 5 MA was holding it here, got a push up, got a push up to the 20. So again, this morning we got the push up because the week only changed. Got that lift, and now it's getting pushed back down. So now the 20 MA on the weekly is starting to exert itself. Yeah, and bottom right you can see that the stock in the weekly is coming to the top. Now listen, this could stay here, and this could pump up to 50 cent while being still up here. So it's hard to on the weekly. It definitely needs to reset back down. Yeah, but it's not going to be immediate results all the time. Yeah, but I will point out one thing about the weekly. Is look at the bottom here, on the bottom right. There's the bottom of the the RSI, stock RSI, yeah? And it equates to here. So now look how much the weekly lifted. Really, it just went sideways, but it pulled the stock all the way back up. Okay? Now go back to here again, and then down the bottom right, go back to the top, and look where it did. So the top brought it down to the bottom all the way here, and then the RSI went all the way back to the top, and look, it only got to here. So it tells you that the RSI on the way down is far stronger than the RSI on the way up. Because when you go back another wave, look at the bottom here. So here's the top, there's a bottom. Okay? So when I'm looking at price action, here's the top of the RSI, here's the bottom. So here's the top of this one. Look at the bottom right again. Here's this RSI here, which is here. So now I'm gonna go forward. Here's the top of the RSI. Look at price action. Here's the bottom of the RSI. So it went all the way from $1.41 to 55 cents. And the RSI on the weekly came back to the top, and it went from 55 cents to 91 cents. Okay? And then from 91 cents it dropped all the way back to the RSI bottom, dropped all the way to 28.65 or something. And then the RSI came back to the top again and only got as far as 41 cents. So you can see that at the moment is the RSI is strong on the way down on the weekly and weak on the way up. Now that will flip once we've bottomed out. Is the RSI on the weekly will get a big pump, and then the RSI on the way up, and then the weekly on the way down will be weak. That's what will happen when it flips. But at the moment, the weekly RSI that's come up has come up weakly. It's a weak move on price action. It hasn't really moved price action very much compared to the drop, which is suggesting that there's another drop due, and that drop can be pretty strong. And when we bottomed out, we'll see the flip of that. We'll see one of the weeklies, when the RSI bottoms and it goes back to the top again, at one point it will be a fantastic pump. And that will switch. But at the moment, it's indicating that it hasn't switched. So it looks like the RSI in the weekly has at least one more journey down. So when the 5 on the weekly gets broken here at 34.13, is there space to go all the way down to the Bollinger at 31.44? I think Mihaela mentioned that 31.50 or so before it on the weekly it hits another support on the Bollinger. Yeah. When you go to the daily, again the RSI is close to the top one, and again it's on the way down. If you look over on the far right is again the far right is the stock RSI. I've got to keep saying that so you're clear. Yeah. Far left is just the RSI. And look at that red line on the bottom. Is again that's indicating a bullish divergence. Yeah. Because you can see, look, the RSI is leveled out here. Price action here. Price action is there. So it's indicating a drop down. And again, it's in the middle of that at the moment, but it's not complete at all. Yeah. So now you can see on the daily, it's very different to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just in a serious spill mode. All the MAs are just spilling down. It looks like it wants to go on forever. You know. Now again, I've seen that before, and it just stops and turns around. But at the moment, it looks like it's mid or getting going. Spill. It looks like it wants to keep going anyway. Where with the daily here on XRP is look how sharp the VWAP has turned. Because of this big drop down, the yellow one, the VWAP has turned very sharply. Is the 5 and the 10 are also turning. The 5 is more level at the moment. That's the orange one, and then the light blue and the 10 is already turned down. Equally, this blue one here is a 55, and the white one here is a 20 EMA. Those guys are turned down as well. So is when I think the daily, the 20 here, the pink line on the daily, again is at 34.20. You can see it's it spiked through it at the moment today, and now what it's doing is working its way through it. I think once 34.22 breaks, I reckon XRP is going to catch up with Bitcoin pretty fast. I think we'll get a bigger spill. And again, I'm watching for XRP to break this bottom here at 32.80, because this was the initial pump, and Bitcoin's pump from a couple of days ago, it has already come back down and broken it. So it's gone right through it. Here's Bitcoin. So look, here's the bottom of that pump, all the way up, all the way down, and it's broken below it. So when you see that, what you do is you put the fibs on, and you reverse them, and you measure it down. So even if Bitcoin does a 1618, it's a 15,700 price target. If it does a 2272, which is a more impulsive one, it's down at 12,800. So that's what you would do there, yeah. So even if we did the same thing with XRP, is just put the fib on from the top to the bottom of this impulse, and we look at the 1618 as the general target, that's 2823. That's a double bottom. If I wanted to do something more impulsive, generally it's the 2272 as general targets. That's 2450, 2460. And again, that would be 24. That would be a breakout of this arc. It'd be a breakout of this arc, heading down here. Yeah. So that would make sense as well. So, but we got to watch. So, what I'm watching for is XRP to break 34.20, to break the 20 on the daily, and then to break the bottom of this impulse is 32.12. Once that gets broken, then we're seriously looking at lower levels. Yeah. So that's that there. Now the 12-hour is going to turn. The 12-hour MA is going to turn in just under 3 hours. Yeah. When I zoom into that, you can see what's holding the 12-hour is the 50 MA. Again, that's at 33.99. Again, 34, around 24. Is seeing this getting broke. Again, we have to drop down to the Bollinger at, again, 31, 31.40, 31.50. But it will have broken this level, this low here of this impulse. So again, I'll be looking for something bigger. And again, if it hasn't happened yet, if it breaks down to here, I'm guessing that when XRP breaks down to here, possibly Bitcoin will have broken its lower low. Bitcoin's pretty close. Like there's Bitcoin's lower low at 17,560, and it's already come down to 18,199. So it's possible that while XRP has this drop, Bitcoin might break its lower low. And that would indicate that I keep my trade open for longer. That's what I'm watching for, yeah. So if I just zoom in now to, well, actually on the 12-hour for a sec, bottom right, you got the stock RSI, and you can see it's starting to top out again. Hasn't fully topped out, but again, you see it's turned down at the moment, yeah. So that's that one there. The RSI is coming down pretty strong, and has lots of space to still go before it goes into the oversold, yeah. So now, before I go into the 4 hour and the 1 hour, there's something to think about is that when the daily or the weekly takes over the move, i.e. if we have a big spill here and it goes on for 2 or 3 weeks, that's the daily. That's the daily taking over the move, yeah. It's not the 4 hour or it's not the 1 hour. It's a daily push, and that can go on for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So when we go down to the 4 hour, again, look at the stock RSI bottom right. Stock RSI bottom right is getting pretty low, close to the oversold. Yeah. Now again, that can stay down there. That can stay down there for quite a while and keep pushing. Yeah. But part of, if it is a daily move, at some point this 4 hour will get a reset. You know, that's just part of it. We're thinking on a shorter time frame is looking at the 4 hour getting a reset. We go, oh look, that's gonna head all the way back up, but not if it's in a big spill. All it is a retrace on the way down more, yeah. And you can see on far right on the bottom is you can see there's bullish divergences here. On as this goes up here is the RSI is going down. So there's a big bunch of bearish divergences on the 4 hour, and this is it pushing on it, yeah. So we can see that, look, this got a lovely push down. Look at the 5 cutting through here. Look at the 10 after turning. Seeing the 5 and 10 turn, more so the 10 MA, the blue one turn on the 4 hour, is a solid sign of a strong reversal, yeah. Here's the 20 EMA, the white, and then the pink is the 20 MA. So you can see that these guys are all ready to turn. Here is a retrace. Look at this 4 hours pushing through. Again, it's back to breaking 34 or so. Is when we see price action break 34, we're definitely going to see that bigger move, yeah. Just a little flick to the 2 hour. A little flick to the 2 hour. So again, there's the 5. 10 is coming in pretty fast now. Again, look, we're testing this level again. So we'll see. But look, the bottom right is the stock RSI is deep in the oversold, yeah, or overbought. Excuse me, not oversold. I always get them mixed up. So oversold. But again, that can stay there and bounce along here for quite a while at times, yeah. So and then the RSI here is getting close to it as well, yeah. So excuse me, it's quite possible that we do get that big push down, and then the lower time frames will have a reset. So now the hour, here's the hour, and again, look, there's the 5 coming through. Look at the little lift up. Now you see this is a spill position. See where the 5 starts to turn back down like that, and the 10 is coming down. This is a spill for continuation. It might not happen straight away, but this general pattern, when you see this, is an indication of continuation. Yeah. Now bottom right is the RSI is floored and it's coming back up. So you'll see this quite often on the. You can see it actually here. It can come up like this, you know, and then it goes back down, and you see the drop that you get here. Sometimes this small drop here ends up being far bigger than the initial drop. Yeah. So that's it. Sometimes that's where it gets a bit tricky. You got to get familiar with reading the stock RSIs, so you get to know their behavior a little bit more. The RSI in the center here, you can see it bottomed out and it's taking a bit of a breath. And again, there's lots of bearish divergence on it as well. Yeah. So now, locally, going in a little bit more, I'm just going to have a quick look at the half hour. I'm just looking at the bottom right. Look, the stock on the half hour is back up at the top. So that means that's ready for another push down. So that's reset itself, yeah. And that's what I'm looking for again, the push down. Now I'm looking at this wave here. You got a lift, you got a drop, you got a lift, you got up. There's probably going to be possibly another little lift and then a drop before it goes, yeah. But possibly it may just go, or maybe another little bit of resistance before it goes, yeah. Let's have a look at the half hour. Or not the half hour, the 15 minute. Look, there's the 15 minute back at the top, and it's working its way down. So the 15 minute has a good push in it, yeah. And then in the center bottom, as you can see, the RSI was deep in the overbought, and it's back up getting a bit of a breath, yeah. So it looks like it can go again. And then just even more locally in the 5 minute, as you can see, the 5 minute stock at the bottom right is bottomed out a little bit, yeah. Now when it bottoms out like this, again, it can come up a little bit and come down and push. So that normally when it pushes like this, you can see. Look at the two bottoms here. You can see the two bottoms here. Yeah. So if it's going to break through, you see on this middle one here, it came up, it didn't turn down, and went back up, catches breath. Sometimes if this is going to break through, it'll come up a little bit, and then it'll have another push down. And the reason why that would happen on the 5 minute is because look, the 15 minute has reset itself. So now the 15 minute can push. The 5 minute isn't on its own. The 15 minute's ready to go with it. And if the 30 minute is ready to go with it as well, then the 5 minute stocks can stay longer at the bottom. So if you see this 30-minute really starting to take a push down, which you'd nearly say it is the last three, it might be ready for a breakthrough. But maybe there's a bit more battling going on. But you get the way you read the different timelines and how they align with each other. Once they become confluent with each other, the move becomes stronger. It's ready to go. So that's what I'm looking at there. So if I simplify this again now, let's mark out some levels to look at. Yeah, it's not going back up, so I'm not going to talk about it. It's coming down for now. So let's have a look. There we go. I've been enjoying red lately. So one is 30. We need to see 34. Need to see 34 getting broken. Let's say 34. There's 34 there. Yeah. So we need to see that getting broken because that's the 50 on the 12 hour, and it's the 20 on the 1 day. So when we see 34 getting broken, that's a really good sign. Okay, the next level we want to see getting broke is this one here. Is the bottom of the impulse. Yeah. Now you'll notice that on the macro level, here's the fibs, and again it's a trip back down to the 618. But what we want to see is the bottom of this impulse. There it is there. We want to see the bottom of this impulse getting broken. Okay, and again, because we're checking for continuation. Yeah. So 32.14, we see 32.14 getting broken. Now we start measuring the fibs down in a further direction. Yeah. Now we know from the conversation there's 31.50. Okay, so we want to see 31.50 getting broken. 31.50 is there, yeah. Okay. Now after that, if you look at where here is this blue line is the lower low. Okay. There's the lower low at 28.64. Between that is the 0.65 fib on the macro. So I'll be looking out for 29.50 after that. So 29.50 will be a bounce off the 0.65, yeah. And again, then we have the 28.64. So now let's put the fibs on this, as I said before. Look from here to the bottom here. Let's just have a look how these figures set out, yeah. So these figures around the 32, 31.50 they're related to the 618 on the macro, yeah. Is the 34 here and around the 33.50 is related to the 786 on this correction. When we come down to the 29.50, it's the 1414. And when we come down to the lower low at 28.64, it's the 1618. So what I mean by that is that if we break below the impulse here, is we could be looking at just a target of a 1618 and a double bottom. It might even break it a little bit. Okay, if we're looking for a bigger breakout, is we just do an impulse of the 2272 at 24.75. This is on the local fibs, but on the macro, as you can see, the 702 here. The 702 is at 25.29. So you can see the local impulse relates to the macro, yeah. And then equally is on the macro the 786. We could, by the end of it, if it wants to go here, look at a 786 on the macro, which is 1975, which would fit in with a bigger impulse of 3272. Okay, and if you're not sure what I mean by the macro, I'm just going to show you briefly. Let me take this out of the way. Here is the lowest point of the previous bull run and bear run. So this is the lowest point of the previous market, yeah, down at 10 cent 42, yeah, and then here is the previous. Oh, sorry, yeah, because this is the bull run, this is the bear run. The previous one, 2017, I'm talking about. This is the bottom of the 2017 bull bear market, yeah. So, and here's the top of the most recent. So you put the fib on it from top to bottom, and again, XRP likes its 786. So when you zoom to where it is now, you can see we bounced off the 065 and bounced along the 618. So now we're looking at potentially breaking through the 618, breaking through the 065, and if we do a double bottom, we're gonna be in and around here. If we break the double bottom, then we're looking at a 702, which is around the 25 mark or so. Yeah, we might get again a consolidation there, and then it might want to continue all the way down to 786, and that'll be at 1975. Yeah, and overall, as a correction, is at the moment from the top all the way down to the lowest point so far, it's been an 85.61 correction. The last bear market, I think, was a 93% correction for XRP. So at the moment, it's an 85.5% correction. If we go to 702, it's an 87.3 correction. If we go to the 786, it's a spot on 90% correction. Is you want to push a little lower, 93. If we went all the way to the same 93, 95, that's not a lot of the alts do a 90 to 95% correction. A 93% correction is 13 cents to 61. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see how far it wants to go. XRP does like its 786s. So that's it for now. I'd love to talk about if this is the bottom and it's going to bounce up. We can start looking at these ranges back up to the 05, break through to the 382, up around the 64. We'll definitely get a little bit of a push back down before we head up again. So that still has to play out. So we got to see if this how this goes. Yeah. If anything, I would say. If I looked at this as an arc, I should show you here. I'll show you here. I might need to reset. See this big blue arc? I might need to reset that. Because at the moment, skyline, resistance peak, first spike, second spike, mid-range high, all looks very feasible. Third spike, double top, first drop. This is not a mountain peak. Mountain peaks go up here. Mountain peaks are a 786 of the drop. So for looking for a mountain peak on this, you'd be looking at around 64. Even if you wanted to do the golden pocket, you're still looking at around mid-50s, yeah? So this is not a mountain peak. So what I may need to do is reset this, where rather than this being mid-range high, we've just had an enormous mid-range high, and then this is the pump before the dump, and that rather than this being third spike, whatever we go down here, that's third spike. Okay, so I'm watching to see about that reset. Yeah, so we could end up. I'm just throwing out figures here. There's third spike. Is we'll have a bit of this going on. It'll be a double top, first drop. Now we're back up to. Now there's that glorious pump for mountain peak, and once we hit mountain peak, is we got to go back down for third drop. So there will be that drop back down, yeah. and again, final peak, final bounce, and then that's where we'll start heading for new all-time highs. Yeah, I'll get that there. Now, whatever amount of time that takes, this is what's actually going to happen. If this is the drop, this is the pattern it's going to take on the way out. Yeah. Obviously the figures would have to be set, but this is pretty much what it's going to do. Yeah. Is if it does a double bottom here, let's say it doesn't go lower, it does a double bottom here, well then I could take this potentially as first drop. So rather than first drop here, I bring first drop over to here, because then we're heading up from mountain peak. Okay, then we've got to come back down for first drop, or third drop, final peak, final bounce, and then breakout. So it's the same pattern. It's just a matter of where the bottom is, and then it's going to do this on the way out. Yeah. So this obviously is a shorter time frame, where the other one is going to be a longer time frame. Yeah. So that's it. I'd say by about 6 months. If we go down here again, it stretches everything out down here for another 6 months before we start to really get our lift up. And what I mean by that, we could be 3 months down, 3 months up, 3 months down, and then we start heading up. So it'd be early to middle of next year before we really pump and starting to see some really good figures by autumn winter 2023. Yeah. So anyway, so that's it. So yeah, so I know I'm waffling on, so I'm gonna stop waffling on now, and I'm gonna leave you with the one final point, yeah, of where we are now. Look for, if you're looking to go in on a short, yeah. I think a good option is when you see this consolidation phase eventually break and break 34 proper. I think that's a good opportunity. Equally is if you see a high here, what I'd be looking for is, look, it's going to lift, come back down, might even come back up again, come back down. I might stretch it out, but what I'd be looking for is the next lift. So if you start seeing price action get up around the 35 or anywhere near it, for me, I would take a short option here, let it figure itself out. I know it's going to break 34. It breaks 34, and then you're checking is if it breaks 34, the 786 is 33.6. 33.6 is definitely going to push below that. I reckon it's going to at least go back to the bottom here. So you could be in on a trade at 30, 35, 34.8, and then a potential target of 32.14. Breaks that is 31.51. Is what breaks that, then we're looking at 29.5. And it's one of those situations where it definitely looks like it's breakout. Bitcoin looks like it's already doing it. So while XRP is moving down, keep an eye on Bitcoin and see if Bitcoin breaks its lower low. It breaks its low here. Because if it does, that's a strong indication that XRP is going to follow. And then again, it's might be an opportunity to DCA in, and we'd be looking at, I think we could be looking at a lower target of 25 or so. Yeah, it could take a week or two to get there. So that's it. So that's me. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you guys later.